Duh, berisik banget sih. Hari Minggu gini bukannya tenang.
Kenapa sih? Marah-marah mulu, lagi bete ya?
Berisik ah.
Udah deh, daripada bete, mendingan kita ikutin updatean dari I AM Community deh. Selain fun, info-info dari I AM Community juga berguna banget buat kita.
I AM Community? Apaan tuh?
I AM Community itu komunitas yang gerak di bidang self-development, pengembangan karir, dan juga investasi, khususnya di bidang properti. Pokoknya, benefitnya banyak banget deh.
Wah, keren banget dong. Bisa banget nih buat belajar investasi.
Bisa banget dong. Ajak teman-teman yang lain juga deh. Siapa tahu kan bisa jadi sultan properti di usia muda.
Amin.
Oke, halo semua. Perkenalkan, nama saya Clarisse dan saya yang akan menemani kalian dalam podcast episode kali ini. Pada episode ini saya tidak sendirian, soalnya saya ditemani oleh seorang teman saya yang hebat dan akan memberikan ilmunya kepada kalian semua. So, without further ado, care to introduce yourself to our audience?
Yeah, for sure. Hey everyone, my name is Alice. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm currently a computer science student at the university. I also do research with youth leadership, and currently I'm doing research with human-computer interaction this summer.
Oh, that's really great to hear. Nah, jadi temanku ini jurusan computer science, dan meskipun dia sibuk dengan sekolah, dia sudah mulai magang dan bekerja dari usia dini. Di luar sekolah, dia juga sangat aktif berolahraga dan masih mengerjakan hobinya yang lain. From what I understood in your introduction, you started working and doing activities outside of school. Is this common in America? Because normally people here don't start interning until they're about to graduate from college.
Yeah, I would say that I actually wasn't so aware of this until I got in college, but a lot of people get internships here, even in high school. And a lot of people, like, starting from when you can drive and the driving age is 16 here, they start working part-time jobs along with like high school activities. So it's not like, it's like pretty common for people to be doing internships here. And I will say, yeah, I think like especially for college students, like even with like the pandemic, I feel like I've met a lot of people, including you, who've been doing like internships here, even like remotely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds impressive because it's different here. People don't really intern. It's not something we do until like semester 5, I guess. Jadi dari yang Alice bilang tadi, budaya kerja di Amerika dan di Indonesia itu ternyata banyak yang berbeda. Kalau di Amerika, anak-anak banyak yang sudah mengambil part-time job atau sudah mulai magang saat mereka masih SMA. Kalau di sini budaya kerjanya memang agak beda ya. Yeah, so from what you mentioned, it seems like there are a lot of differences between the Indonesian work culture and the American work culture. But what does a day in your life look like as a high-achieving student? Do you get enough sleep?
Well, I will say that like everyone's situation is kind of different. I haven't worked a full-time job yet, so I can't really speak on that. But this past semester, I have worked as a teaching assistant, and while also doing like freelance work on the side and doing another internship while being a full-time student. And I think what really allowed me to balance that and like like stay stable with my mental health and everything is the fact that like my classes were all asynchronous, so I could really figure out my own schedule. Like I would do coursework when I knew that I was free, so I had time during the day to like do meetings for my job, or for my jobs, I guess. But like I think otherwise it would have been probably like pretty hard. And I also I think I'm not getting as much sleep as I probably should. And I think it's just a matter of like really reinforcing that balance, like especially taking asynchronous classes, it takes a lot, really tests your time management skills.
Yeah, I bet. Like, we're both from CSE, which is the College of Science and Engineering in our school. And I can assure you, all that Alice just said, she makes it sound so easy, but really it isn't. And she's like juggling a lot of jobs and like a lot of activities outside of school. So I bet it's really hard for her. Most of the time, it gets extremely tiring and mentally draining. Pastinya kalau orang-orang mau mengimbangkan waktu kerja dan waktu bersantai, mereka harus mempunyai sistem manajemen waktu yang sangat teratur. I was just saying to the listeners how people who do so many things at once need to maintain great time management skills. And I feel like that's something you have, and I always look up to you for that. Could you tell our listeners a little bit about what you do to keep your schedule organized?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just listing things off the top of my head, I'm definitely like, I don't think I could live without Google Calendar. So like having some sort of calendar, whether it's like, I know a lot of people like using those like paper planners too. I like Google Calendar because my schedule is always changing. So it's really easy for me to just like share my calendar with someone and be like, if you want to meet with me, just invite me at a time that I'm free. So I don't have to like remember all the things. That's why like paper doesn't really work for me, but I keep a lot of to-do lists. So I actually change the way I do my to-do list every semester. I know that like you mentioned using Notion, which is like a bigger tool than just a to-do list, but I use Microsoft To Do when I'm like really busy because it offers me that like nice flexibility. Otherwise, I'll just use like a sticky note or something. And when I'm done with the things, I put them on my wall to feel accomplished. And I think like big picture, the way to like manage your time, it's like I set my priorities really clear. Like I have a numbered list that I literally stick on my computer monitor of like what's important to me. Like for me, it's my family and then my career and then like other like activities. And then like from there, I know how I can organize things and how I can choose like when to say yes and when to say no to something.
Yeah. Do you have anything to say for people who get distracted easily? Because like some people, you have things written down and like they schedule everything, but for some reason they still go to their phones and like get distracted by TikTok and stuff.
I would say, so I'm actually not on TikTok. So I don't like maybe try there's this thing called like a dopamine detox. So like your brain is so used to getting like a high, I guess, of sorts from like seeing these videos, or like social media can be really addictive. I like definitely spend way too much time on YouTube watching like cat videos, let's be honest. But so things like that. So like one, just like maybe like try to go like an hour without it like one day and then just like push that, and you'll slowly like get back to your normal state where like you're not as like stimulated by that sort of stuff. Otherwise, like setting that timers, if you have like an Apple product, and I think like all other like Android products have that too. So it like tells you, oh, like your daily amount of time on this app is up for today. And actually just like listen to that. That helps. What else was I gonna say? Yeah, I think that and also there's like this 5-minute, I think Elon Musk came up with like, he starts a task for 5 minutes and then or no, I'm actually saying the wrong thing, but like just start something for 5 minutes if it sounds hard that you're like procrastinating on it. And like what I find is that like once I start it, I'm like, oh well, now that I'm already like committed to it, like I should just finish this task. So as long as you like start, you should be good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, taking the first step is hard. I'll just explain a little bit about what you said to our Indonesian listeners so they could understand. Seperti yang dibilang Alice barusan, dia tuh menggunakan Google Calendar untuk mengatur waktunya. Dan sesuatu yang menurutnya sangat berguna adalah untuk membuat sebuah to-do list tiap hari atau tiap semester. dan menetapkan tujuan yang jelas. I'd like to also add that since I use Notion more than Google Calendar, it's a bit harder to use than Google Calendar, but I feel like once you get used to it, it gets easier, and yeah, you could do more on it than just Google Calendar because you could take notes and stuff. Yeah. And it's just another alternative to Google Calendar. Moving on, I know COVID isn't a word everyone wants to hear, but you just got your COVID shots, didn't you? And yeah, how has COVID changed the way you view your time management skills? Has it been easier for you to organize your life, or has it just gotten harder?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I will preface this with saying that everyone has a unique home situation. So like depending on like how good your Wi-Fi access is, whether or not you're living with like a ton of people, like I'm an only child and it's just me and my mom, has been for this year. So like I don't have issues with like having a quiet and be like good space to work in, and I also have good Wi-Fi access and things like that. So that has made like just that alone has made working at home a lot just like naturally easier for me. And I also just like have developed really strong time management skills like throughout high school with like keeping that habit of overloading a lot of activities while also being a full-time student. So I will say it's been easier for me to organize my life because like all of my work is centralized, so it's all just like remote tasks instead of like before where like in working in person, I guess, not that I've gone to college in person to be honest, but like going to high school in person, I'll have meetings just like pop up when I'm meeting people, or like a friend will like grab coffee with me or something like that, and it'll just like come up and then I'll just like need to leave, and then like it's like balancing that like in-person interaction versus like stuff I have to do on my own, whereas now it's sort of like everything I do is sort of like on my own right now.
Yeah.
So like everything's in one place, so yeah, it's definitely easier for me to organize my life right now.
Yeah, I would have never thought of COVID impacting your life or like your time management skills in that way, because COVID has been seen in such a negative light that, yeah, I've never thought of it as something that could actually be positive. Ya, jadi seperti yang Alice bilang barusan, karena COVID, dia lebih gampang manage waktu dibandingkan sebelumnya. Dia mencoba berbagai macam metode dan memilih salah satu metode yang cocok untuk dia. Dia juga bilang bahwa semua orang cocok dengan metode yang berbeda-beda, dan metode yang dia pakai kemungkinan tidak cocok dengan orang lain. So I definitely agree that COVID has made it somewhat easier to organize our time because most of our classes are remote, and even people working from home get to organize their times remotely. And we get to put that into GCal. We also don't have to take into account travel times and like, yeah, going out to eat, or, you know, when you go out from school and just hang out with friends and then you don't look at the time. Yeah, we don't have to take into account about those things anymore. But I'm curious though, how would you schedule your time differently once things go back in person?
Yeah, actually, this is something I'm trying to work on. So definitely like accounting for commute time. I think for our school, University of Minnesota, it's like 15 minutes to get from one side of campus to another. I will be living in one of like the on-campus like apartments, so I won't be like far from any of the classes, but taking account like my slow walking time, I guess, and also especially with like the winters, wiping out on the ice or something like that, just in case. But like also like I think a lot of spontaneous meetings can pop up when you're like in person, like you mentioned, like meeting with friends, like going out to eat and things like that. So probably just like trying to keep spaces in my schedule. And I think this will be like a bit of an adjustment for me because it's been a while since I've like had that kind of thing. And I think it's just being like patient and like revising my system, I guess. Yeah. It's probably
Yeah.
just like, yeah, I think like I'll come into it like with preparation, but I'll probably like need a lot of adjustment.
I really don't know what to expect for in-person classes just because we've never been in in-person classes before, in college at least. And I'm sure the halls are huge and like the classes will be big. So that's something new. First time seeing people in a while. Yeah,
First time
but
for you being in the US, right?
oh yeah, I'll be leaving in August. Still long though. Yeah, the things you mentioned were really true though, like commuting time, and then I'm glad that you're starting to prepare for it now because it might come as a shock if we don't even prepare at all. But now that we're mostly remote, do you have any plans for the summer? Like, what are you doing now?
Yeah, so obviously I'm doing Korean with you. That'll take up a huge part of my schedule. So right now I'm finishing up one of my internships from spring semester, but starting in June I'll be doing research along with the University of Washington, Seattle. I was gonna fly to Seattle, which would have been really fun. But I'm not because I'm working remotely because of the pandemic.
Oh,
But
man.
yeah, I'll be doing research along with Professor Alice Zhang, who's like one of the leading figures in human-computer interaction. She does a lot of work with the intersection of like politics, specifically with preventing misinformation. And let's see, there's also a lot of work with how can we improve the way people communicate with each other and develop community via online work entirely. So really relevant things, obviously.
Yeah, sounds really great, but like, are you taking time to chill also?
Yeah, I mean, I think Korean will be like good for that. I do like take a lot of time. Like, I really prioritize spending time with my family, so I'm definitely gonna be doing that. Even if like I think it's important to like I always eat dinner with my family every day, and just like making sure you take out that time. Like I block out the later half of my schedule just for that. So I mean like that'll be my chilling, and obviously like I watch like K-dramas, so that's like a
Yeah,
given in my schedule.
and
So
you're always with your cat, right?
yeah, oh my gosh, I was gonna bring him, but he's asleep upstairs and he won't come even if I call him, so
Oh man. Yeah, you're doing so much this summer. Yeah, you're always doing so much, and I still don't know how you fit that into your schedule, but I'm glad you're still taking time to chill because mental health, gotta take care of that. Yeah, thank you so much for working together on Korean with me. And I really hope that you do well in your future careers and this upcoming fall semester. Thank you so much for coming today despite your busy schedule. And do you have any last words for our listeners, especially those that are trying to juggle between their work and their life?
yeah, I would say that like your time is really valuable, and that's regardless of your current career status, your current age. It's something that I've like come to realize this year. Like just because I'm a first year college student doesn't mean that like every minute of my time isn't really valuable. That I could be doing something important or beneficial like to myself at that time. So just make sure you know your priorities and set them according to what you really think is what you want, and not something that you like think your family should want for you or that like would be great for your career or whatever. Something that you know will make you like satisfied and living like a good balanced life.
Yeah, it's good to hear that you're enjoying what you're doing. And I loved what we talked about today. It's been really inspiring for me, and I bet for many people out there as well. Dan terima kasih semua sudah mendengarkan sampai episode ini. Jangan lupa untuk stay tune sampai episode-episode berikutnya dan tetap follow dan subscribe I AM Community untuk tahu kabar terbaru dari I AM Community. Salam I AM Community. I am smart, I am capable. Bye.
Bye.